What is up, YouTube? I am Eric and you are watching Retro Video Game Pickups, and in this video we are taking a fake Super Nintendo Classic apart and I'm gonna tear it down and show you guys what's inside. So if you like games, consoles, or product reviews, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. With that being said, let's hop into it. Okay, so we have this fake SNES Classic that totally is a joke and is really fake, and I want to show you guys what is inside of it. So in this video we're going to take it apart and show you guys what it looks like and kind of what it comes with and all that stuff. So we're about to move over to the workbench here and take that apart and let you guys know that, hey, this is obviously a fake. So let's move over to the workbench now. Okay, so here we have the Super Nintendo Classic that is totally a fake, and I want to take it apart for you guys and show you what it comes with and what it looks like from the inside. So we're going to do a bit of a teardown on it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this box, close it up, and set it off here to the side. That way you guys can look at that if you're interested. And on the bottom there are a bunch of cords, so I'm going to show that off just a little bit. You have your power adapter, which has been used, obviously I've used this system before, and then your HDMI cord, which I've never actually used. So we have the system here and we're going to go ahead and pull it out of the box, and as you can tell, this is a complete fake. It looks so ridiculous that it's obvious this is a fake. So looking at it, you can tell, obviously it says power and reset, which actually works. There's an indentation for the slot, which isn't there, obviously. You've got these weird pins on the front. They remind me of Sega Genesis pins. And then you've got a little LED there. And on the back here, you've got your HDMI and your power. So overall, this looks absolutely fake. So I'm going to set that down, and we're going to grab one of these controllers as well and take it apart and show you guys what to expect. I have never, actually I think I used one of these controllers, maybe it was the other one, I'm not sure which one. But we're going to take this apart first and show you kind of what to expect here. Now, you do have that cord with that weird pin set, which I don't understand why. But you have your buttons, you got your A, B, and your X, Y, your start, select, your D-pad, and your R and L button. Now these buttons feel like garbage, and honestly, I don't know why you would want to use them. Let's make sure I grab the right one, which I didn't. It happens all the time, because these two look exactly the same. But we're going to go ahead and open this up and see what is inside this controller. Now this is a basic controller, so I wouldn't expect much in this, but I figured we're going to already take down the system here, so let's take apart that controller and figure out what's inside of it and see if anything is different inside or if anything's weird. So we're going to unscrew all these screws and make sure we get them nice and loose so we can take this shell off. Now, you'll notice some of these screws came off and some of them didn't. That's okay. So I'm going to set that off to the side. Wow, this is terrible. So you got the two buttons, the R and the L, obviously. They just click down. Can you guys see this? Let's see if I could show you. So let's see if we can get it to focus. Whenever I press this button, that whole thing flexes in, and so that is scary, honestly. But we're gonna take that off, and I wanted you guys to see this. Look how ridiculous this is. They did a terrible job when they were working on this, and honestly, I'm not surprised. But we're gonna take this board off if we can. It looks like it is pretty much solid in there. So now we're going to take that out, and honestly, even the soldering is garbage. That just looks ridiculous. Look at how they soldered it. It looks bad. There's a blob there. And honestly, you've got your A, B, and your X, Y button. And that A button is like cut there. So it looks super ridiculous. I wouldn't say it's cut there, but it's really close. And then you got your up, down, left, right. And then your start and select and all that. Honestly, this is a basic board, and honestly, it's nothing fancy. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put this back together, and then we will move on to the actual system itself. Okay, so we've got that all put back together. Now we are going to move on to this. Now I know that they have put all of the screws under these pads, so I'm going to go ahead and peel those off and set them over to the side here because, well, I don't want those pads getting in the way or getting stuck to anything and lost. So setting those off to the side is a good idea. Now I will state that I have only used a Phillips head screwdriver so far, and I'm assuming that's all I will probably need. I have a small Phillips size that I use, and I don't remember what size exactly it is. That's what it is, if that helps. Let's see if it'll focus on it. If that helps, that is what I use. These are cheap on Amazon, and so that is a good deal. Now, all you'd need is 4 screws to unscrew this. If I can get it to unscrew. Maybe this is too small. Let's grab a bigger size and see. Yep, there it goes. So I did have to get a bigger size for these screws on the system, but that's not a big deal. I've got a bunch of tools over here just laying on the desk, so that's nothing crazy right there for me. But I will say, these things are incredibly easy to take apart. These fake systems seem to just be like 4 screws on the outside and maybe 4 screws on the inside, unless you get a fancier system, which sometimes you'll see more than that, but honestly I haven't seen that many. So now we've got all those screws off. I'm gonna see if I could just take the system off. Look at this. So we took the top off, and it was very simple, and you can set that off to the side. Now here is what you were stuck with. Now it's pretty simple if you look at it. You've got a board which has the reset button, which honestly this is flimsy. If you can see it moving, that's very scary. Then you've got your switch, which turns it off and on again. The board that has the power, the reset, and the LED and the 2 ports for controllers is one board, and then it looks like everything else is on that ROM board, which is interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart and show you guys more of an up-close view. So honestly, this is kind of a simple system. Most of these they're just boards, 1 or 2 boards, 1 board for like the controllers, usually a board for the kind of brain of the computer or the ROM board, and then maybe you'll get a board for the input and the output. So usually it's very minimal. This one's yet again is very minimal as well, and so I'm just gonna screw all of this off, and then we will get a more up-close view of the actual boards themselves. So I like these boards because they are very simple to take on and off. Usually there are 4 screws on the corners, and as you can tell, these 2 are the same way, connected by a ribbon cable. So be careful if you're going to do this and you have one of these, you do not mess up that ribbon cable. Now here is what the board looks like now that I have them taken off. We're going to look at this board a little bit more. You've got the ports for the controllers, you've got the very long LED, you've got the reset button, which is very loose, which is not good, and you've got your on and off switch. on the bottom here, you've got all the solder and everything, and honestly nothing good there. Next, we have the board with the HDMI on it. You can see the HDMI port and the AC port over there. You've got a chip here, and then there's a chip there, but it's on the bottom. So honestly, you got some capacitors and fuses and nothing too fancy. You got that chip that was on the bottom, and then you've got a big black blob on the bottom. So honestly, this system is pretty basic. Now what I'm going to do is put this back together for you guys, and then we will move back over in front of the games and talk about this system a little bit more. Okay, so now I have completely taken apart that SNES Classic Fake Edition that I wanted to show you guys. Now, if you'll notice, a lot of these things are junk, and this one has 821 games, or at least it says that. Now, a bunch of these are duplicate games, so do not think that you are actually getting that many games. But if you'll notice, whenever you tear these things apart, they're relatively simple, and they're not even really that well designed. Like, if you notice on the L and the R button, when I clicked the button, the actual button flexed, and the solder wasn't very good, so I would be afraid of that. And also, on the reset button, it did the same thing. If you pushed it, you can see it flex, which is not good. It will break eventually, and you'll be stuck with a system that doesn't work, or you'll have to fix it with a soldering iron. So that is kind of what the inside of this Super Nintendo Classic Mini, whatever you want to call it, is. Now this is the fake one called Built-in 821 Classic Games Super Mini SNO2. Now this is definitely a fake one, and if you pick this up, be on the lookout and know that it is going to be fake and have bad games on it. So with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification, because it lets you know when I post more videos, which is almost, if not every day. So with that being said, one more time, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you have a good day.